Hello, everybody. This is President Donald Trump. I don't smoke and I don't drink, but there's a fantastic show called Liquid Lunch, and their sponsor is Question Tequila, and it's hosted by John TABACCO. Booze, cigarettes, tobacco, it's all here with great insight on politics, culture, and everything else. Tune in every day to Liquid Lunch.
Hey, welcome back. It's Table Talk Tuesday on Liquid Lunch on NEWSMAX TV. No, that's not really Donald Trump. You know he doesn't drink. That's John Domenico, great friend of the show, but he does a great Trump. I can't get enough of him. It makes me crack up all the time. Go check him out. Aside from being a great Trump impersonator and a great friend of the show, he's a great comic humorist. Go check him out. John Domenico is the best. Downtown at the New York Stock Exchange, the Dow continues to move to the upside, up about 100 now. Nice little pop since we started the show at noon. And better pop is bringing back my two good friends, Beth DeFalco, Democratic strategist, managing director at Mercury LLC, a high-stakes public strategy firm, and Jadan, a conservative commentator and contributor to Metropolitan Magazine. Friends, thank you. The big impeach is on. We had the first impeach for collusion. Then we were going to impeach Kavanaugh. Now we're back to impeach. This is the 1AB. This is the 1B impeach, the Ukraine impeach. Is this the real thing? Is third time the charm for them, Beth?
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot to choose from, but this definitely is problematic, which is that it violates many things, but the emollients clause is one of the big things it violates, which says you can't profit off of being president while you're president.
So how would he profit?
I'm sorry, regarding...
oh, you're talking about
I'm talking about Trump Tower. Yes, in terms
he backed off that one. For the first time, he backed off. Yeah, I know. The news cycle is like minute by minute.
It is minute by minute.
You know what I'm saying?
Back to Ukraine, though, so he's using his position as president for his own gain and to control the upcoming campaign. And it's a problem for anybody, regardless of party. That is not what the office was intended for.
Nancy Pelosi, Chris Ruddy wrote an article on, our CEO wrote an article on NEWSMAX yesterday talking about how Alan Lichtman, this Democratic-leaning professor, projected the winner of every presidential election since 1984. He's a Democrat-leaning guy. And he said that Trump is destined to win in 2020. The only shot the Democrats have is to impeach. And Nancy Pelosi, she didn't have the transcript. She didn't read the transcript. She never spoke to the whistleblower. She never asked anyone any questions, but she came out with the inquiry. What's happened, Jaden?
Well, look, this is a political ploy by Nancy Pelosi. This is timed to coincide with making as much news as possible for the 2020 election. If the Democrats actually believed that the president had done something that was impeachable, they should have acted before. Because they didn't, they now are grasping at straws with whether or not the president, based on a transcript that they didn't read and a whistleblower that they haven't spoken with, whether or not the president benefited himself in an upcoming election by asking for an investigation into the former vice president's, admittedly on videos, illegal influence in a foreign nation. So, I mean, again, if we go to whether the executive can direct an investigation, whether the executive can ask a foreign nation as part of negotiations for them to look into corruption by the previous administration, I think it should be allowable. And I definitely think that the previous administration did the same thing.
He said, according to the transcripts that the White House released, that we're going to withhold your aid.
But he didn't say that. And the aid wasn't withheld.
Literally, his chief of staff copped to it on national television.
But the aid
wasn't withheld. So he was going to withhold aid and wanted to withhold aid. And the only reason he didn't withhold it is because it came out publicly before then. He didn't ask. He was quite literally abusing his office, withholding money from the Ukraine in order to manipulate the 2020 election.
Except what's lost in this entire process is the fact there was an ongoing investigation already in Ukraine about Hunter Biden and his illegal influence with that prosecutor. So merely the president was simply asking that that investigation be continued. investigated in order for the administration to know about what level of corruption was going on in that country.
The president withheld funds.
So if Biden wasn't a candidate, it would be
Biden's
acceptable.
not president right
but if
now.
Biden wasn't a candidate, then it would be acceptable.
It has nothing to do with Biden. It has to do with the
everything to
actions
do
of
with
the president.
Biden. Should we not look into candidates, whether they are breaking the law or not? And you know what?
We should look into presidents who are breaking the law.
This is an incredible double standard because the Obama administration investigated not one, but two major party candidates for breaking the law and stick the FBI on both of them.
That's true.
Domestically. And infiltrated their campaigns predicated on the idea that they were doing something illegal. And so now we're talking about the same thing.
We're talking about obstruction of justice, like so many issues.
This is one of the best mix it up. I got to drop the hammer. I rarely drop the hammer. I usually ring the bell. But I want to thank you both. I just want to ask you one thing, because I always try to at least find one point of agreement. Would you agree that if Donald Trump's son today were appointed to the board of a Russian energy company, the left would go berserk? Would you agree? That it just doesn't smell good that Biden's son...
He's appointed his daughter to work
no, but
literally in the White House. There's so much wrong.
Does it smell good for his son with no experience to get a job making $50 grand a month?
I think that Hunter has said it didn't. The appearance of it wasn't good.
Fair enough.
Very different than
Jadan,
what Donald Trump did.
I think everyone would be upset.
I think so.
Because people already assume that the president's doing it. So if that actually happened, that would be a direct example of it.
I had to force them to agree, but I'm ringing the bell because I like to get one thing to agree on. Presidents and vice presidents' kids shouldn't get jobs on boards of companies in other countries. It just doesn't smell good. Whether it's legal, illegal, to me personally, it stinks. But it don't stink in here at all when we have Beth DeFalco and Jadan Horyn. That was one of the best mix-it-ups I've seen in a while. I want to thank you both for joining me. Frank Morano's not here. We still have the best shows ever, but we miss you, Frankie boy. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back right after this with more Table Talk Tuesday, Liquid Lunch.